I want to talk to you a little about his backstory. We find out that he has a really seemingly, if we could believe him, really tragic backstory with his mom's death. What do you think, and how do you think that's kind of guiding him in his life? Should we take him at his word that that really has impacted him, or should we be a little suspicious of what he revealed there?
I personally believe that that happened and it's true, and and that's what made him become a police officer and then, promote up to where he is. I think his intentions are good. And I think that even in this situation with Otero, he kind of says, like, look, yes, Otero's gang killed somebody and people did die, but who would you rather have policing this street? Should it be Jesus Otero, or should it be these like young gangbangers who just kill each other at will and kill random people? All of it kind of makes sense. Is it a perfect situation? No. But that is our world. It's not perfect. And finding the right people to do the things necessary is how Chief Reid operates. And because he has this dirt on this team, he's using them to do some unsavory things.
Yeah. Well, and it was interesting because he does trust Voight by confirming what Voight suspects. In your mind, how much of that is manipulation where so he might think he's lulling Voight into a sense of, oh, we're partners in this, or how much is what can you share about that moment and what that means for them going forward?
I just don't, it's such a good question because every time I look at it, I wonder myself where this is going, because they're both so intelligent. So it would be silly for Reed not to, he's read every file on Voight. He knows what Voight is capable of, and he knows how intelligent he is. So I don't know, man. That dynamic is very interesting. It's always kind of filled with this tension because you just never know what's going to come out of it, which makes for a very exciting scene. Um, so I hope Chief Reed survives. I don't know, you know what I mean? Because like eventually it's going to get ugly. It has to, right? I mean, I'll be looking in my inbox for the next script so I can find out.
Well, on that note, he is someone who does seem to be thinking, 10 steps ahead at any given point. In your mind, from what you know or what you filmed so far or what you just speculate, what is his game plan for keeping Voight and now potentially Chapman under control?
Yeah, we just did episode 15 where there was a big situation where Deputy Reed needed Voight to do something basically to protect Otero, and Voight kind of reluctantly goes through with it. And then at the end of that episode, something happens huge that it really kind of puts the whole relationship, it blows the whole thing up. No pun intended. And so I, it's so fractured by the end of that, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But it's certainly, I did have a conversation with Gwen at one point saying, like, it would be foolish of Reed not to expect, Voight to try to, use something against him or come after him. So I hope that Reed is prepared. And she said, "Oh, don't worry." Don't worry. So it's exciting. Can't wait to see.
Absolutely. Well, and as you mentioned, he does obviously he's working with Voight, but he has this leverage over the other members of the team in what you've filmed or what you want to film. Who would you like to see him kind of interacting with and maybe pressuring a little bit to kind of be his, figurative hired gun in some of
I
these?
think I think the easiest and most predictable target would be Torres, just because he's younger, and we know what happened and with his criminal informant, and the affair there. So there is actually some pretty juicy stuff that happens in 15 between Reed and Torres.
For you in your mind, I know you said you want him to continue on whatever is going on, but I'm curious how much that's actually impacting your performance day to day? Like, is there anything you're doing intentionally in any way to be like, what can I do to make sure they want to keep me alive in the show going forward?
I think even though it seems like Reid may be an antagonist, I would never approach character with any thought of like, oh, I'm a bad guy. You know, how do I indicate that? I think comes from an authentic place. He believes that the things he's doing are right, and they are to a degree. um, so I just attack it from the way I would any character and find who he is, what makes his heart beat, what his DNA is, and I think it's working out pretty well. So I'm doing the best I can, and honestly, in a situation like this, the star of this show is the show. Chicago PD is the star of the show. So if they need to like take Reed out to make that show successful, I'm all for whatever they need. You know what I mean?